The Forgotten Colony. The Edge of Hope. Dr. Elena Vasquez stood at the observation deck of New Meridian's central hub, watching the twin suns set behind jagged mountain peaks. The colony had been humanity's pride once, a thriving settlement of 30,000 souls on the rim of explored space. Now barely 800 remained, huddled in reinforced bunkers while death circled overhead. The Zephyrians had come without warning 6 months ago. Tall, insectoid creatures with 4 arms and compound eyes that reflected no mercy, they had swept through human settlements like a plague. Their ships were sleek, organic-looking vessels that moved with disturbing grace through the void. But it wasn't their technology that terrified Elena most. It was their purpose. They didn't want resources or territory. They wanted humans extinct. The silent plea. Captain Marcus Reed limped into the observation room, his left leg still healing from the last attack. His weathered face carried the weight of impossible decisions. "Another ship tried to break through their blockade today," he reported quietly. "The cargo vessel Destiny's Dream. They vaporized it before it cleared the atmosphere." Elena closed her eyes. That ship had carried families, children who might have escaped to safety. Any response to our distress signals? Marcus shook his head. Nothing from the Galactic Council. The Alterian Trade Federation sent their regrets, but said they couldn't risk conflict with the Zephyrians. Even the Coraxian Empire, who we helped during their plague crisis, won't answer our calls. The galaxy had written off humanity. To the great alien civilizations, humans were newcomers, barely worth notice. When the Zephyrians had declared their intent to cleanse human space, most species had simply looked the other way. Better to let the insects finish their work than risk becoming their next target. The watching eyes. High above New Meridian's atmosphere, Zextar stood in the command chamber of his flagship, the Death's Whisper. His 4 arms moved gracefully over holographic displays, showing the human colony below. The insects had patience. They could wait, let the humans grow desperate, watch them slowly break under the weight of isolation. "War Leader," chittered his second-in-command. "The humans continue their transmissions. Should we silence them?" Zextar's mandibles clicked in what passed for amusement among his kind. "Let them scream into the void. No one will answer. No one cares about the fate of these soft-skinned mammals. When their spirit breaks completely, we will finish what we started." The Zephyrian blockade had been perfect. 12 heavy cruisers and 40 smaller attack craft surrounded the system. Nothing moved without their permission. They had turned New Meridian into a tomb, its inhabitants already dead, but too stubborn to stop breathing. The last message. Elena worked through another sleepless night in the communications center. The equipment was cobbled together from civilian transmitters and mining gear, but it was all they had. She had been sending the same message for weeks, broadcasting on every frequency she could manage. "This is New Meridian Colony to any human vessel or station. We are under siege by hostile forces. 800 civilians trapped. Requesting immediate evacuation or military assistance. Please, if anyone can hear this, we need help." The words felt hollow now. She had given up hope of rescue and was simply maintaining routine, something to keep her mind occupied while they waited for the end. But tonight, something was different. A faint return signal, so weak she almost missed it buried in the cosmic background noise. Elena's hands flew over the controls, isolating the signal, amplifying it, running it through every filter she could think of. Slowly, impossibly, a message emerged from the static. It was encoded in an old Earth military cipher, one she recognized from her father's service in the Colonial Defense Force. Message received. Coordinates locked. Maintain current position. Do not attempt evacuation. Earth remembers its children. Storm protocol is active. The Forgotten Protocol. Captain Reed found Elena staring at the decoded message, tears streaming down her face. "What is it?" he asked gently. "Storm protocol," she whispered. "My father told me about it once. It was a theoretical response plan, something the Earth Defense Command developed but never implemented. if human colonies were threatened and no help was coming from other sources. She trailed off, but Marcus understood. Earth's military had contingency plans for everything, including scenarios where humanity stood alone against the galaxy. Storm protocol meant Earth itself was responding. Word spread quickly through the colony's underground shelters. For the first time in months, people smiled. Children asked their parents if the scary bug ships would go away. Adults who had given up hope began to believe again. But Alina felt a chill of uncertainty. Storm protocol had been theoretical because everyone assumed Earth lacked the military strength to project power across interstellar distances. The Colonial Defense Force was primarily a patrol and rescue service. What could Earth possibly send that would make a difference against a Zephyrian fleet? The Watchers. 3 days passed with no visible change. The Zephyrian blockade remained in place, their ships continuing their slow patrol patterns around the system. Zextar had intercepted fragments of the humans' communications and noted increased activity in their settlement. Let them hope, he thought. Hope made the final despair more delicious. But his sensor operators were reporting strange readings from the system's edge. Gravity fluctuations that didn't match any known phenomenon. Space itself seemed to be rippling near the outer planets. Probably solar interference. Zextar dismissed the reports. These primitive humans have no allies. Their own species abandoned them. Continue the watch. Yet something nagged at his consciousness. The Zephyrians had conquered 17 worlds in their expansion, and experience had taught him that humans were unpredictable. They were weak individually, but capable of surprising coordination when threatened. Still, what could Earth do? Their homeworld was hundreds of light years away, and intelligence reports indicated their military was primarily defensive. The silence before. Elena stood once again at the observation deck, but now she wasn't alone. Dozens of colonists had joined her, all watching the sky with a mixture of hope and terror. The Zephyrian ships were visible as bright dots moving across the star field, a constant reminder of their captivity. Marcus checked his chronometer. 47 hours since we received that message. If Earth is coming, where are they? Before Elena could answer, every electronic device in the colony went silent. Communications, lighting, even basic power systems flickered and died for several seconds. When they came back online, the display screen showed something impossible. The space around New Meridian's outer moon was bending, twisting like heated glass. Reality itself seemed to be stretching and warping until it finally tore open in a brilliant flash of azure light. The emergence. From that tear in space emerged something that defied belief. Ships began to pour through the dimensional rift, but these weren't the small patrol craft or converted civilian vessels that made up most human fleets. These were weapons of war, massive dreadnoughts bristling with armor and cannon batteries, sleek destroyers that moved like hunting predators, carrier vessels that immediately began launching swarms of fighter craft. Elena counted 12 capital ships, 36 cruisers, and over 100 smaller vessels. But it was the flagship that made her gasp in recognition. The EDS Sovereign, a battleship she thought existed only in military propaganda videos. Its hull stretched nearly 3 kilometers from bow to stern, covered in the angular armor plating that had become Earth's signature design. The Earth fleet arranged itself in perfect formation, their ships moving with mechanical precision that spoke of countless hours of training. Energy signatures blazed across every spectrum as weapons systems powered up and defensive screens activated. The recognition. Aboard the Death's Whisper, chaos erupted as Zephyrian sensors detected the new arrivals. Zextar's compound eyes focused on the tactical display, trying to comprehend what he was seeing. The largest human ship was bigger than anything in his fleet. The energy readings suggested weapons powerful enough to crack moons. Where did they come from? He demanded. Our scouts reported no approaching vessels. His tactical officer's antennae twitched nervously. War leader, they appear to have used some form of dimensional travel. Our sensors detected the space distortion, but couldn't interpret it. Dimensional travel was theoretical even for the Zephyrians. It required energy outputs that could power entire star systems, technology that supposedly didn't exist anywhere in the galaxy. Yet the humans had just demonstrated it on a fleet-wide scale. Zextar felt something he hadn't experienced in years of conquest. Fear, the thunder of war. The Admiral's voice. On the bridge of the EDS Sovereign, Admiral Sarah Chen stood with hands clasped behind her back, watching tactical displays that showed every enemy vessel in the system. She was a small woman with graying hair and calm eyes that had seen too much war, but her presence commanded absolute respect from her crew. Communications, open a channel to the colony. Priority Alpha encryption. The response came immediately, Dr. Elena Vasquez's voice trembling with disbelief. This is New Meridian Colony. Please confirm, are you actually from Earth? Dr. Vasquez, this is Admiral Chen of the Earth Defense Command. We received your distress call. Sorry we're late, but we had to make some preparations. The Admiral's voice carried a hint of dry humor that somehow made everything seem more real to the colonists. Admiral, there are over 50 enemy vessels surrounding this system. They'd been holding us under siege for 6 months. We're aware of the tactical situation, Doctor. Please ensure all colonists remain in secure locations. Things are about to get very loud out here. The ultimatum. Admiral Chen switched to the fleet command frequency. All ships, this is actual. Execute Protocol Lazarus. Full tactical deployment. Weapons free on confirmed hostile targets. Let's remind the galaxy what happens when you threaten Earth's children. Across the fleet, battle stations alerted as thousands of crew members moved to their positions. The smaller ships spread out in an expanding sphere, while the heavy cruisers formed a wall of steel between the enemy fleet and New Meridian. Then Admiral Chen opened a broadcast on all frequencies, her voice carrying across space to every ship, every listening post, every intelligence station within 100 light-years. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Command, speaking to all Zephyrian forces in this system. You have committed acts of war against human civilians. You have murdered innocents and terrorized a peaceful colony. By the authority vested in me by Earth's government and the Colonial Defense Charter, I order you to withdraw immediately from human space. Zextar's reply came quickly, his translated voice harsh with anger. Humans, you cannot threaten the Zephyrian Empire. We are the dominant species in this region. Your soft race will be cleansed from the galaxy. Admiral Chen's response was ice-cold. You have 30 seconds to begin withdrawal. After that, I will demonstrate why Earth doesn't negotiate with terrorists. The demonstration. Zextar's mandibles clicked with fury. All ships, attack formation. Destroy the human vessels. The Zephyrian fleet began to move, their organic-looking ships flowing toward the Earth formation like a swarm of insects. Energy weapons began to charge, and missile tubes opened like flowering buds along their hulls. They never got the chance to fire. Admiral Chen spoke one word: execute. The Earth fleet unleashed hell. Railguns that could punch through asteroids fired synchronized volleys, their projectiles moving at significant fractions of light speed. Energy weapons that drew power from miniaturized fusion reactors painted lines of destruction across space. Missile salvos that numbered in the thousands turned the void into a storm of explosions. But it was the flagship's main gun that truly demonstrated Earth's power. The EDS Sovereign's spinal cannon, a weapon that ran the entire length of the ship, fired once. A beam of coherent energy, visible across the electromagnetic spectrum, struck the Zephyrian flagship amidships. The Death's Whisper simply ceased to exist. One moment it was a kilometer of alien armor and weapons. The next it was an expanding cloud of superheated plasma. The rout. The psychological effect on the Zephyrian fleet was immediate and devastating. Her command ship had been vaporized by a single shot from a weapon they couldn't comprehend. The remaining vessels tried to scatter, but Earth's tactical computers had already calculated every possible escape vector. Destroyer squadrons moved to intercept fleeing ships with impossible speed, their engines powered by technology that made conventional drives look like steam engines. Fighter craft swarmed around larger Zephyrian vessels like angry wasps, their weapons designed specifically to exploit weak points in insectoid ship architecture. Within 20 minutes of the first shot, the once mighty Zephyrian blockade was broken wreckage drifting through space. A few ships managed to engage their faster-than-light drives and flee the system, but most were captured or destroyed. Admiral Chen had achieved what military historians would later call a perfect victory. Minimal friendly casualties, complete enemy defeat, and a demonstration of force that would resonate across the galaxy for generations. The message. As salvage crews began collecting survivors and debris, Admiral Chen prepared her second broadcast. This one would go out on every major communication network, translated into hundreds of languages, carried by merchant ships and diplomatic pouches to every corner of civilized space. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Command. Today, the Zephyrian Empire attacked human civilians and threatened genocide against our colonies. They believed humanity was weak, isolated, forgotten by our allies, and abandoned by our government. Her voice remained calm, professional, but carried an undertone that made listeners uncomfortable. They were wrong. Earth protects its citizens. All of them. Everywhere. The technology you've witnessed today represents decades of development. Resources Earth has invested not in conquest or expansion, but in the defense of human life. We have been watching. We have been preparing. And we have been waiting. The tactical displays showed the wreckage of what had been a powerful fleet, destroyed by weapons that seemed to violate known physics. To our allies who offered assistance during this crisis, we thank you. To those who remain neutral, we understand your caution. But to any species or government that believes humanity is easy prey, remember this day. Remember New Meridian. Remember that Earth keeps its promises, especially the ones we make to our children. The aftermath. On New Meridian, colonists emerged from their shelters to see Earth ships landing at the spaceport, medics and engineers disembarking to provide aid and begin repairs. Children who had hidden in darkness for months ran laughing under an open sky, while adults wept at the sight of the blue and white flag of Earth flying over their settlement. Dr. Elena Vasquez found herself on the bridge of the EDS Sovereign, sharing coffee with Admiral Chen while they watched the cleanup operations below. How? Elena asked simply. The resources, the technology, the coordination. How did Earth manage this? Admiral Chen smiled, the first genuine expression Elena had seen from her. Doctor, what do you think Earth has been doing for the past century while everyone assumed we were weak and irrelevant? We've been learning, studying, building, and most importantly, we've been remembering every slight, every dismissal, every time someone decided human lives didn't matter. She gestured toward the stars visible through the bridge windows. The galaxy thought we were children playing at civilization. They were right about one thing. We are children. But children grow up, and when they do, they remember how they were treated. The new dawn. Within days, Earth Defense Command established a permanent base in the New Meridian system, advanced sensor arrays, supply depots, and a garrison fleet that would ensure no hostile force could threaten human colonists again. Similar bases appeared throughout human space, connected by the same dimensional travel technology that had allowed the fleet's surprise appearance. The galaxy's political landscape shifted overnight. Species that had ignored humanity suddenly sought diplomatic contact. Trade agreements were offered. Military alliances were proposed. The Galactic Council extended an invitation for Earth to join as a full member rather than the minor associate status they had previously held. Earth's response was polite but firm. Humanity would engage with the galaxy on equal terms or not at all. The days of being dismissed or forgotten were over. The legend begins. The legend begins. Years later, xenobiologists would study the psychological impact of the New Meridian incident on galactic civilization. The sight of human warships emerging from twisted space, The casual destruction of a fleet that had terrorized an entire sector, the calm professionalism of Earth's military officers, all of it combined to create what psychologists termed the human factor. The knowledge that somewhere among the stars, Earth was watching, waiting, ready to respond with overwhelming force to any threat against its citizens. Space pirates avoided systems with human populations. Aggressive species reconsidered expansion plans that might conflict with human interests. Even the great galactic powers began to factor Earth's potential response into their strategic calculations. Admiral Chen retired to a small farm on Luna, but her words echoed across space. Earth keeps its promises. 4 simple words that had become humanity's unofficial motto, a warning and a comfort wrapped in quiet confidence. Dr. Elena Vasquez returned to her research, but now she worked on terraforming projects backed by unlimited Earth funding. New Meridian became the first of dozens of new colonies, each one protected by the invisible shield of Earth's promise. And in the depths of space, new fleets were building, equipped with even more advanced technology, crewed by men and women who had sworn the same oath that Admiral Chen had lived by. We do not abandon our own. The galaxy had learned to fear humanity's anger, but they had yet to discover the true extent of human determination. That lesson was still to come, written in the stars by a species that remembered every kindness and repaid every betrayal in full measure. Earth had returned to the galactic stage, not as supplicants seeking acceptance, but as protectors carrying the biggest stick anyone had ever seen. The age of human weakness was over. The age of human strength had just begun.